Welcome to Royal Family Brief. The content of the briefing includes: Watch live, King travels in procession to state opening of Parliament. Prince William admits campaigning against climate change is uphill battle. Watch, William on positive impact of Earthshot Prize. King Charles III, climate advocate, faces speech at odds with his beliefs. Law and order and the economy are focus of the British government's King's speech. Watch live, King travels in procession to state opening of Parliament. The Independent. King Charles will open Parliament for the first time as monarch with a return to full pomp and ceremony. He will wear the imperial state crown, his lengthy crimson robe of state, and Admiral of the Fleet Royal naval dress uniform. His wife, Queen Camilla, will wear the George IV state diadem and reuse her coronation gown. The late Queen Elizabeth II had adopted a more dressed-down state opening in recent years due to her mobility and other factors. This will be the first time a British king has opened Parliament in over 70 years. Prince William admits campaigning against climate change is uphill battle. Telegraph. Prince Charles has hailed the work of the Earthshot Prize and the 15 finalists who are hoping to win one of the 5 awards of £1 million. The awards ceremony took place on April 19 in Singapore. Speaking to the finalists, Prince Charles said, "Campaigning activism is really hard work sometimes, it's an uphill battle, that's the point of Earthshot, to elevate the wonderful work you're all doing." He added that the aim of the awards was to provide impact and to make change. Watch, William on positive impact of Earthshot Prize. BBC. Prince William has announced that 1.5 million people have been positively impacted by the finalists of the Earthshot Prize, his environmental project launched in 2020. The winners of this year's prize will be revealed at a ceremony in Singapore. King Charles III, climate advocate, faces speech at odds with his beliefs. New York Times. King Charles III will deliver a speech outlining the UK government's legislative priorities as part of the state opening of Parliament. The speech, written by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, will include policies that may be opposed to the King's personal views, such as the plan to exploit more of Britain's oil and gas reserves in the North Sea. King Charles has long been an advocate for climate action and has made speeches on the environment since 1970. However, the monarchy's commitment to political neutrality means that the king is expected to display a poker face and remain neutral when delivering the speech. The government's legislative plans also include measures to offer oil and gas licensing rounds each year, setting up a political dividing line with the opposition Labour Party, which opposes granting new licenses for oil and gas exploitation. The government may also announce new legislation on crime and a gradual ban on smoking. This is likely to be the last King's speech before the next general election. Law and order and the economy are focus of the British government's King's speech. Associated Press. The UK government will outline its legislative plans for the coming year in the grand state opening of Parliament on Tuesday. The speech, to be read by King Charles III, will include measures to tackle inflation and boost economic growth, as well as proposals for tougher sentences for criminals. The speech will also give an indication of how the Conservative Party plans to campaign in the next general election, which must be called by the end of 2024. The party is currently trailing the opposition Labour Party in opinion polls. Kenya declares a surprise public holiday for a national campaign to plant 15 billion trees. The Toronto Star. The Kenyan government has declared a public holiday on November 13 for a nationwide tree planting day. The move is part of the country's plan to plant 15 billion trees by 2032. The current forest cover in Kenya stands at around 7%, but the government has set aside over $80 million this year to increase tree cover to over 10%. Deforestation is a major contributor to climate change as trees store carbon. Climate change has worsened droughts in the Horn of Africa, including Kenya, where there have been 5 consecutive failed rainy seasons. Dominic West used ear plumpers to play Charles in The Crown. Telegraph. Actor Dominic West has revealed he was provided with ear plumpers to help him play Prince Charles in The Crown. However, the bespoke plastic devices were abandoned as they did not improve West's appearance. The actor said the second time he played the role, in the forthcoming 6th and final series, he was more relaxed. The final series will be released in 2 parts, with the first focusing on the events leading up to the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, and its immediate aftermath. King's speech to toughen sentences for sexual crimes. BBC. The UK government plans to introduce a law that will see offenders who commit murders with sexual or sadistic motives spend the rest of their lives in prison. The proposal will be included in the King's speech, which outlines the government's plans for the coming months. Other measures to be announced include forcing criminals to appear in the dock and a law preventing prisoners from marrying. The move comes as the Conservative Party hopes that the bills announced in the speech will help improve its electoral prospects ahead of the next general election, expected next year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, bringing you the latest news from our fascinating world. Today, we have a mix of royal updates and environmental initiatives to discuss. Let's dive in. First, we witness the return of full pomp and ceremony as King Charles opens Parliament, donning his majestic attire and ceremonial garments. Queen Camilla also graces the occasion, showcasing her regal elegance. It's been over 70 years since a British king has performed this duty, so it's a historic event indeed. Speaking of royalty, Prince Charles expresses his admiration for the Earthshot Prize finalists, acknowledging the uphill battle faced by climate change campaigners. His Earthshot Prize has already made a positive impact on 1.5 million people, and we eagerly await the announcement of this year's winners. However, as King Charles prepares to deliver his speech outlining the government's legislative priorities, he faces a challenge. The speech, written by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, may include policies that clash with the king's personal beliefs, such as further exploiting Britain's oil and gas reserves. It's a delicate balancing act for the king, who has long been an advocate for climate action. But fear not, for the monarchy's commitment to political neutrality means that King Charles will maintain a poker face and remain neutral during the delivery. Shifting our attention to the British government's plans, the King's speech will focus on law and order and the economy. Tougher sentences for criminals and measures to tackle inflation and boost economic growth are on the agenda. This will also give us a glimpse into the Conservative Party's campaign strategy for the upcoming general election, which is sure to be an exciting contest. Now, let's travel to Kenya, where the government has declared a surprise public holiday dedicated to planting trees. The aim is to plant a staggering 15 billion trees by 2032 to combat deforestation and mitigate the effects of climate change. With only 7% forest cover currently, Kenya is determined to increase that number and invest over $80 million this year alone to achieve their ambitious goal. On a lighter note, actor Dominic West reveals his experience playing Prince Charles in The Crown. He was even provided with ear plumpers to help him resemble the prince, but alas, they were not successful. Nonetheless, the final season of The Crown promises to be captivating, focusing on the events surrounding Princess Diana's tragic death. Finally, the King's speech will introduce new legislation to toughen sentences for sexual crimes. Offenders with sexual or sadistic motives behind their murders will face life imprisonment. Additionally, measures such as forcing criminals to appear in the dock and preventing prisoners from marrying will be announced. The Conservative Party hopes that these tough-on-crime bills will bolster their electoral prospects ahead of the next general election. That's all for today's news, my fellow observers. Remember, the world is full of surprises, from grand royal ceremonies to environmental initiatives. Now, it's time to hear from you. What are your thoughts on King Charles's challenge of maintaining neutrality in his speech? And how about Kenya's ambitious tree planting campaign? Share your ideas and questions, and let's engage in a lively discussion. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.